All right, in the previous video, we walked through demo student William Davidson uh, making some annotations inside of his student ebook and where that student could go to see those notes both inside of the ebook and inside of their digital My Notebook. Okay, in this video, I've jumped back over to my teacher account. Hopefully the home page looks different and looks familiar to all of you. I'm in Journeys. I'm in my grade 4 classroom, and right on that carousel, you can see I've got my student ebook available to me. So that is where I'm going to start. I'm going to click on opening that ebook and realize I've got two different ways that I can see the work that my students are doing and saving to their notebook. So remember last video we were in because of Winn-Dixie, and we made an annotation. Now keep in mind, I started this video on my teacher account. So therefore, when I open the student book, even though this is kind of confusing, teacher, student, any of the notes that I've made as the teacher inside of the quote unquote student book, I can still see those notes. Okay. What I'm seeing on the page would be maybe walking my students through, modeling for them how I go about annotating the text and choosing the difference between the highlighting colors. Okay. Just like they can click on their My Notes section, I can see the highlights and all of the colors, right? The top left-hand corner shows me which color was used, the date and the page. Or I can click individually on each annotation and it will do, the same thing essentially. It'll get me to the point where I am looking at whatever that note says. Okay. Now, this is my version of the student book, even though I'm the teacher. But one thing you have that your students do not, in the top right-hand corner where I'm hovering and kind of circling my mouse, I see the option for My Classes. Your students don't see that inside of their student book. So I'm going to click here because, again, I'm a teacher. Let's say it's Thursday night. My students had all day Wednesday and Thursday to go through and read because of Winn-Dixie. I want to see the work they've done. So I click My Classes. I'm going to go down to the bottom here where it says grade 4. Again, you might only have one roster. It just depends on, how many students you have and how many different groups potentially you see throughout the day and the way your account was set up. But once I click on that roster of students, I will start to see all of my individual students' names. So I'm going to start to scroll until I see William Davidson. Okay. And what I want you to do while I click on William's name is I want you to be looking at my annotations and how they will disappear once I click onto William, because now I'm viewing William's textbook. So the computer does a little bit of thinking. If you've watched my previous video, you'll know that this was the example here that we highlighted and specifically used the green color. I also can verify that I'm in William's book by the top right-hand corner now says William Davidson. That's whose book I'm currently looking at. Okay, same types of usage applies here. If I want to open up William's annotation or a note to see what he wrote, I can click on it here and it will pull open in the left-hand side of the screen. Or, once I select William's book, I can just come over to the notes section, see the listing of notes, and click on each individual one that I want. Okay. After I've looked through William and the work that he's done, I can go through that process again and choose a different student. So maybe, Patrick is next on my list. So I'm going to click on to Patrick. I get the spinny wheel again Computer's telling me I'm now in Patrick's book. The annotation we watched William make and that we just reviewed, that went away. And look at this. I don't have any annotations on the page. So maybe Pat hasn't done his work yet. I can, flip through the rest of Pat's book to see, has he made any other annotations? Okay. I can do this process as many times as I'd like. I can search students here. I can reverse the order in which my students are rostered. Okay, got a couple options. Or if I simply just click out of this option, I can jump back into my version of the student text. Again, you see all of my annotations come back. Okay, this would be one way to view those notes if we were working remotely, or even if I was requiring my students who come to school physically each day to work on a digital, in a digital capacity on a computer, even when they're sitting inside my classroom, I could still have the digital version of me walking through my classroom and peering over the shoulder of my students. As I said, this was one way to view those notes. I'm going to close those windows and I'm going to return to my home page. And now, if you remember, I said before, that was me being in the student ebook. If I use the right and left arrows, I can tab all the way over to the side. I see the same purple icon that my students saw. If you're not sure what that looks like, go ahead, view video 1 when I walk through that as a student. But I've got that same icon here. And if I click on it, I'll see a very similar window. Okay. These first notes that pop up are any of the notes that me personally as the teacher made and saved to my notebook. Okay, I can look at them here, but you'll notice in the top right-hand corner, you've got a rectangle or a tile that says View Student Notebooks, which is again where I would go as the teacher to view the work that my students are doing. So I'm going to click that. Any of those rosters that we just saw a moment ago when we were inside the student ebook, I see the same rosters here. I'm going to click my grade 4. I'm going to scroll down until I see William Davidson. Okay. I'm going to click on him. Any of the notes that William has made are now being shown on the screen. And as the teacher, I can click and open that same annotation. I don't see any of the actual pages of the story. So that might be something to consider on your end. If you just kind of want to quickly look at each of the notes that they made and you're familiar with the story, maybe this is the easier option. And in video 1, I also talked about, from William's perspective, how he could go back in to see if his teacher, quote unquote, left any notes for him. So here, once again at the top, anything that he highlighted. Here is his annotation, his response to the question. Now as the teacher, I have the option of, saying, great job, you may have missed the mark, go back and take a look for something else. Whatever it might be that I want to say to him, I can put in this box down below. Okay, so I'll just say, great job. However, can you find more examples that kind of prove that this is first person, right? And I can save this. Once I save it, then the student on their end, on their side of the fence, they can then view that comment that I've left. Okay, I can once again click that View Student Notebook as many times as I want to jump around to look at my other students' notes. okay, and just kind of go through the process, looking at their note, responding with comments. I talked earlier about tagging, right? Again, I can search. I can also change those views on the teacher side as well. So some similarities, some different, okay? But the two different ways from the teacher perspective that I can view the notes and the work that my students are doing inside of the student ebook. Hopefully that clears up some confusion. I do want to end by saying, if you've gone through and watched the video and you're still having some difficulty, or maybe the My Notebook icon is missing, something like that, I'll point your attention to this help feature that is in the top right-hand corner of your teacher dashboard. And there are lots of really nice downloadable directions, step-by-step, that kind of walk you through some of these different processes. So, right? So if I want to edit an assessment or add a test or something like that, you'll see downloadable PDFs or really nice screenshots on how to do something. So you can also kind of guide yourself and help yourself within that help feature. Okay, keep the suggestions of things you want to see in upcoming videos. Keep them coming our way. And hope this was helpful, guys. See you soon.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the HMH International Content Cares YouTube channel. If you're looking for more content, click on the video to the right of your screen. Welcome to our global community.